Is 2:01 and we are back for Matters by the Public, and appreciate having so many folks here this afternoon. So we will go ahead and get started. Do you want to, Commissioner Bernard, do you want to take this now?
Thank you and good afternoon, everyone. I have lots of cards here, so if you would populate both of those podiums, that would be great. And when you get there, please say your name and address. Christine Hemphill, followed by Drew Martin, followed by Kay Yates, followed by Sheila Cataldron.
Oh, go ahead. Okay. Hi. Back in 2018, the Palm Beach Post
Your name and address for the record, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Christine Hemphill, Lake Worth Beach, Florida. Back in 2018, the Palm Beach Post was writing a comment about the commission here and using the age-old excuse for inappropriate development being approved, approving a development in an inappropriate area. And in that particular article, they said they used the age-old excuse of an increase in population, more people. And I think that you can just say, well, okay, but development needs to be in an appropriate place. And once again, we're looking at inappropriate locations like the Ag Reserve. And in that article, by the way, of course, was featured GL Homes. And that time, their community and well-being efforts to make us know that they care about everyone around is they were the main sponsor of a ball for the homeless. And the commission held a ball, and GL Homes paid as the main donor for that ball for the homeless people. And now you have, of course, the GL Homes offering you a reservoir and offering you their conservation lands and offering you the conservation area in the inappropriate swap so you can maintain the trails. And they're offering not to have to pay taxes for that property of conservation forever. The taxpayers can pay for them in perpetuity. And they're offering you to suddenly have the budget and the knowledge and the well-being, the benefits of running a reservoir with apparently better skill than the Water Management District or the Army Corps, who are experts, of course, at this and did look at the land and discovered this much benefit for this much cost. So, of course, they chose some other locations that are going to provide a big benefit and are in the mix. So what you have now is them offering all of that, pretending like they care, when in reality what's happening is a better deal for them, $500 million, some fancy mini mansions, which I would say putting out there in the Ag Reserve, a lot of cement, a pro-fracking environment there with all the natural gas coming in and everything in infrastructure the taxpayers paying for, while we apparently will get offered another conservation easement they don't want to pay for, so they can benefit $500 million. So basically, they don't have to pay taxes for their conservation, they don't have to do their conservation, they get to make $500 million, and you get to approve some development in an inappropriate area. So what I'd like you to remember from this is
Thank you
those
very
houses,
much.
Thank you. Those
Thank you very
houses
much, ma'am.
are the
Ma'am.
airport at Palm Beach, at Fort Lauderdale airplanes. Imagine those airplanes in
Mr.
Fort
Martin, you're
Lauderdale.
next.
Excuse me, before we get started, just asking for that we have decorum in this room this afternoon. There's a lot of people that want to speak, and we want to make sure everybody has their opportunity to have their time. And so everybody's is allowed to speak for 3 minutes while we're here this afternoon. So please be mindful, and when the timer goes off, please be respectful and conclude your remarks. Thank you.
Are you ready?
Name and address for the record, please.
Drew Martin. I'm here on behalf of the Sierra Club. I live in Lake Worth Beach, and I'm here to speak against the land swap and in favor of protecting the ag reserve. And we had an interesting presentation. I did a speech on Earth Day, and one of my focuses was on protecting agriculture in Palm Beach County. But one of the things, a gentleman came who does a lot of hemp, and hemp is not the same thing as marijuana. It is not hallucinogenic, and actually I've learned quite a bit. First of all, it's pretty easy to grow. It doesn't require a lot of water, and you can actually eat it, which I never realized. I knew you can eat the cannabis, but I didn't realize you could actually eat hemp, and it has a lot of protein in it, kind of like oatmeal or something. So, so in other words, when you're going to have a number of farmers that say, well, we don't really want to farm anymore. There are other products and other crops. So it doesn't mean that you can't farm out there. Maybe they don't want to, but there's other products. And when I came down here today, I went by vendors and I saw they have their store here on Dixie Highway. And there's a lot of cars in there because people buy vegetables and they like greens. And so it's a popular thing, and it gives a county kind of a spread out economy, because you don't want to have a county that's totally dependent upon home building. And that's your only thing that you offer, the only type of job you offer. Agriculture is actually offers quite a few jobs, and it's quite, it takes a lot of talent to be a farmer. I take my hat off to the farmers. They work hard, and they have a lot of good employees. So they also support a lot of other industries, the hotel industry, the restaurant industry, the farm equipment industry. So it's giving the county a great deal of benefit. Now, on top of that, Palm Beach County is one of the largest agricultural counties in the eastern United States. In fact, it's the largest by, I guess, acreage of farmland east of Nogales, Arizona. And as we all know, Arizona is having a problem with the Colorado River, and that's also going to impact agriculture in California. So, to say we have a lot of agriculture now doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have a lot of agriculture in 10 years. So if you have children or grandchildren, or, you have to think about where are they going to get their food. And that's an important thing. And food issues are significant. We have a lot of hungry people around the world in the United States. So we really have to think about that. So I'm going to return 5 seconds to Mayor Weiss, and hopefully that'll help offset the previous speaker. Thank you.
Name and address for the record, please.
Kay Yates, Delray Beach, Florida, formerly Boynton Beach, Florida, resident for 24 or 25 years. Thank you, commissioners, for your attention and for having us here today. I appreciate your time. I did forward to you a few days ago the email announcement from the South Florida Water Management District stating that on Thursday, May 18th at 9 a.m., they will have a Zoom meeting concerning the Lower East Coast Water Supply Plan update. The current and projected water needs through 2045. The presentation will be posted before the meeting and on their webpage. It will be recorded and available on the district's YouTube. I do hope that you will attend, or that you will see to it that you watch that proceedings. I don't know how much interaction you've had or what you've studied about what the South Florida Water Management District does for our water in this county, but they are the entity that does water storage and water cleansing. It's called quantity and quality of water, and they're the big guys. They have the big trucks, they have the big equipment, they have the deep pockets with all the money for water in the county and the state. So I hope that you'll pay attention to them. And if you've done your research and looked into them before, I thank you for doing that. And then that means you really are doing your job. I want to share something personal with you. My friend Sheila and I have been coming to Palm Beach County Commission meetings for 20 plus years. We're both in our 80s now, and we're getting tired of coming up here. I hope this is the last time you see me. I need to be staying home and resting. I want to share with you that we have followed the development of the Ag Reserve from its onset, from when it was proposed to developing the rules for it to voting for it. We voted for it, we paid for it. All of the residents of Palm Beach County have paid for the Ag Reserve. I'm sure that you appreciate that. The county has won great recognition and fame and environmental benefits for its agricultural reserve structure and program, as well as fresh produce local, as well as fresh local produce. I want to share that the first time that I voted in Palm Beach County was the fall of 1999, and I voted for the Ag Reserve. I hope that you will too. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Calderon?
Hi, now you have the other old lady on the other side. I have her beat by a couple of years, too. Why is the Ag Reserve so important to us? First of all, it's Sheila Cataldron, and I live in Green Acres, Florida. And thank you for being here and letting us say our piece. In 1999, as Kay referred to, the public voted by over a 2-to-1 margin to establish the Ag Reserve through a taxpayer's financial bond issue in order to preserve open space and protect the environment. We did that. The Ag Reserve supports local farms and plant nurseries. It buffers the Loxahatchee National Wildlife Refuge and the local rural community from development. It protects against detrimental impacts on our water quality, improving flood control and aquifer recharge, and provides habitat for those farms and wildlife that are out there. In short, okay, I'm going to be quick. With the passage of the bond, and as Kay said, yes, that was also, well, that was my second year here voting, but we were quite there to vote for this bond. With the passage of the bond, we, the citizens of Palm Beach County, Florida, said no to development and yes to agriculture and preservation. Please make sure you hear this and honor it. Thank you.
Thank you. Claudia Kirk Bartow, followed by Debbie Oliva, followed by Matt Reinholtz, followed by Colette Bieland.
Claudia Kirk Bartow, West Palm Beach, Florida. And I'm here on a different issue. I just wanted to tell you all about junior achievement of the Palm Beaches and Treasure Coast. Not that the Ag Reserve and your other items aren't important, but Junior Achievement's mission is to inspire and prepare young people to succeed in a global economy through classroom programs and simulations that focus on financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship. So we're preparing the future workforce, and we partner with the school district here in Palm Beach County, after school programs and community organizations. And this year we're on track to serve over 127,000 students. That's a lot. Before the pandemic, we didn't use technology as much. We were serving about 20,000 students. So with the Google programs in the schools, we were able to really increase our numbers, as you can tell, and I'm really proud of our team. Just a few statistics. Students that have gone through junior achievement, about 2/3 of those that are 18 to 29 now say that they're financially independent from their parents. And don't we all want that? Because that compares to a Pew study that show about 1/3 of Americans in that same age range can say the same. During Financial Literacy Month, we did a lot of things, but it was also Volunteer Appreciation Month, and we utilized the support of over 800 community volunteers who contributed more than 6,000 hours in our schools to help teachers teach our curriculum around financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship. And of those 800, about 427 high school heroes were used, and those high school students went to the elementary schools. Our longest partnership is Palm Beach Gardens High School, but we have Palm Beach Central, Wellington, Park Vista, Jupiter, Palm Beach Lakes, Dwyer, Forest Hill, Glade Central, Lake Worth, and John A. Leonard, so a number of high schools. We had 82 volunteers for our JA Inspire. It's our middle school interactive career exploration fair, and that happened at 3 middle schools in the community, and over 50 volunteers for our 3DE program at Lake Worth High School. I know I don't have much time, so I'd love to get you all to come out and volunteer with us and help support our future workforce. Thank you so much for all you do every day.
Thank you, Claudia. And on behalf of our board, I want to express our condolences to you and your family for the loss of your mother.
Hello, Matt Reinholtz, White Trail Farm. I'm also a resident of 131st Trail. As you know, we've been through a lot of challenges and hurdles over the years. And I just wanted to kind of communicate to everybody in the room what we are and what we do. We're a flower farm in Jupiter, Florida. Greg Weiss saw us at the Mountains Botanical Garden Show and saw all of our products that we grow right here in Palm Beach County. We also are active members in agritourism, so we invite members of the general public out to our farm for weddings, for pet to goats, for special events, educational classes, to connect with the agricultural community. So our story started back in August, and our farm was under attack from Ramsey Buckley. There's no bones about it. Me and Ramsey Buckley were never friends. We were not cordial with each other. We had definitely locked horns on the law. The county actually acted outside the four corners of the law since day one, under Ramsey's direction. To address noise to all my neighboring properties, we have never violated the noise ordinance in Palm Beach County. I have never been given a violation, ever. PBSO has visited our farm several times, and every time they find no violation. I have a problem here defending normal, respectful behavior. I'm not sure why a violation or a sheriff's report would be an obvious first step to merit someone's claim. If I had 7 claims of a noise violation, so be it. I have 25 acres. We were not talking about a zero lot line. There are 2 people here that own property on my road that are here complaining about my farm. Adam Edison and Zach House. Adam Edison does not even have a home on his property and is not allowed to live in his barn stall, according to planning, zoning, and building and the health department. Zach, an owner of Lucky Old Sun Event Center across the easement from us, has hosted some of the largest private events in the county. If Zach wants to complain about offsite impact, he has a shooting range pointed at my personal residence, shooting rifles at will. Me playing the Bee Gees, Till County ordinance has never killed anybody. Road concerns. Our road is private. It is not regulated or maintained by any taxing authority. Myself and 3 other neighbors pay out of pocket to maintain the road for all landowners. Our street is heavy with commercial agriculture. We have 80 to 100 acres at any one time that are being used for this purpose. We have tractors, boom trucks, semi-trucks, skid steers, box trucks, heavy equipment operating our street daily. People visiting our farm, purchasing our products, and attending our agritourism offerings are not an issue. Zach House states that we interfere with the entrance of his property. This is also an embellishment. We specifically hire parking staff for any larger offerings to maintain clear and safe passage for everybody. The optics and photos he claims that we have a couple times impeded his access are without merit. Zach has been observed intentionally positioning himself into a situation of distress to make a fraudulent claim. And we're approved by Palm Beach County Fire Code and all PBZ. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Debbie Oliva, and I am the founder of the Jupiter Farms Lunch Bunch. I am here in great support of White Trail. White Trail does a lot for Jupiter Farms. We are 500 women strong in Jupiter Farms Lunch Bunch. We represent Jupiter Farms. We are Jupiter Farms. Jupiter Farms Lunch Bunch has had several events at Katie and Matt's farm, White Trail. They are extremely picky about what goes on their property. We have rules that we have to go by every single time we have an event there. We have to hire a valet parking. Y'all might think, well, why do we need parking? but they want to make sure that nobody hits their swales. They want to make sure their property is maintained properly. If you have never seen this property, you need to go take a look. This is a gorgeous, and if you want pictures, I've got them, okay? This is the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen in your life. It's beautiful, okay? And she makes sure that that property is run correctly. As far as noise, we are told that when we have an event there, please listen to this. We have to vacate that property by 10 p.m. and all music is to be cut off at 9 p.m. They are not breaking any laws on that property. And for somebody to come up here and complain about such an asset to our community, I can't believe it. I really am not. I'm appalled, actually. You're going to hear from other businesses on this street. One of them here, I thank you so much for being here. I really do. Jupiter Creamery. The complaint actually says that people come up and down that street. There is a huge amount of business on that street. I live in Jupiter Farms. That's one of the busiest streets for commercial you're going to see. There's a huge landscaping company on the right-hand side when you pull onto the street. Huge trucks come up and down there. But Matt maintains the road. So I don't understand what the problem is, and I please, y'all, protect what is in Jupiter Farms. I'm begging you. We need Jupiter Farms. We don't have many. Please, Maria, stand up for Jupiter Farms. We need you. We really do. We need you to stand up for Jupiter Farms. We do not want a homeowners association out there, please. I'm begging you. Thank you so much for taking the time. I bow back to the commission.
Good afternoon. My name is Colette Bieland, and I'm from Wellington. I'm here in support of White Trail also. I'm a small business owner. I have an events company. I work with multiple nonprofits and have been to their venue multiple times, and it's always tranquil and serene, supporting the community. I have, they've donated their Airbnb to help support to help offset some of my expenses for the events for the nonprofits. They've also helped with their talented florist who was able to do over 30 centerpieces, and they donate the time, the space, and everything for us. So they support the community. There's also, I just was involved with the Edna Runner Center. Those kids don't have an opportunity to be exposed to the farm animals, to the plants, to the fishing opportunities. And I think that that's an amazing space for them to have this resource just down the street from the center. And I think that by not allowing them to continue to support this community, I think we're really detrimenting our community and our kids and the opportunities that they have because of this facility. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I have Ashley Davis, Therese, I apologize, I can't read your last name, Borgeson, Michael Culpepper, Audrey Friedrich.
Hi. You ready to go?
Sure.
Okay. I'm Ashley Davis, 16973 West Derby Drive in Loxahatchee, Florida. I'm here to support the Reinholtz as well. Their property is absolutely breathtaking, and if you haven't been to a property like that, the way it overlooks the water, it's absolutely beautiful. We need agritourism in Palm Beach County. It is dying. You'll see many of us that are farmers linking together and supporting each other because it is completely deteriorating out of our areas, whether it's Heritage Farms, Loxahatchee, and Jupiter Farms. We all unite that way, and farmers help farmers, just like everybody else kind of joins in their own community. So that's all I have to say, but we need them.
Hi, good afternoon. Teresa Borgeson. I'm from Jupiter Farms. I actually just relocated here from Boston, Massachusetts. About 2 years ago, little personal experience, about 2 years ago, I had the good fortune to spend 6 weeks at White Trail in their retreat. And interestingly enough, I had not considered relocating to Florida, but when I was at the farm, I had a whole different experience of what Florida is all about. My mom lives in Lake Worth, so I'm sort of used to, the hustle and bustle and the HOAs, and I fell in love with Jupiter Farms. I fell in love with the farm. I'd get up every day, walk around, walk through the gardens. I mean, I have hosted Teams calls. I run a business out of Boston, Mass. I hosted team calls out in the garden, the animals. I mean, just everything was just so peaceful, so tranquil. By the time my 6 weeks were up, I had an offer on a farm, a location in Jupiter Farms, and I moved, pretty much a year later. But my relocation would never have happened if I hadn't stayed at White Trail and experienced that type of Florida. So it was a lot of fun. I'm selling my business in Boston at the end of the year, and I anticipate that I will open up something here in Florida and hopefully bring some revenue to the area as well. So thank you for listening.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, fellow commissioners. My name is Michael Culpepper. I live in Jupiter Farms, 18937 129th Terrace North. I was born and raised in Palm Beach County, and I'm a sixth-generation Floridian. My grandfather and father were both mayors in the town of Jupiter, and my father was a county commissioner for Palm Beach County. I share that with you so that you know I truly appreciate the hard work and effort that it takes to sit on the dais and listen to everyone in your seats and to make decisions that are in the best interest of the people of Palm Beach County. I stand before you today to express my concern about a commercial operation which has disrupted our quiet residential neighborhood. We've heard it referred to as peaceful, and it typically is. This is the White Trail wedding venue that we've been hearing about a few minutes ago. 2.5 years ago, a commercial event venue was constructed 900 feet west of my home. Events at this property with shouting over the public address system and loud music is very disturbing to our normally quiet and peaceful setting. Think of it like this. Most of us has been at a red light when a car pulls up next to you and the music is blasting and you can't wait until the light turns green so you can get out of there. Imagine if you had no place to go and you were stuck sitting there listening to that car for hour after hour. Now, your zoning and code enforcement folks are quite familiar with this property, as you heard. In fact, there was an article in the Palm Beach Post in March of 2021 titled, "A Pole Barn or an Event Venue." That article from 2 years ago confirmed at least 16 citations were issued for violation of codes. In 1957, Palm Beach County adopted its first zoning codes. In 1972, Palm Beach County adopted the first comprehensive land use plan, which won national awards. One of the reasons zoning regulations and land use plans are in place is to ensure the surrounding properties are protected from activities which are not compatible. I've heard it stated the activities at White Trail are agricultural activities. While a scenic and peaceful rose farm sounds like a nice, quiet agricultural endeavor, when the music starts blasting and people start yelling over loudspeakers, those pretty roses probably wilt away like the poor neighbors. Folks, I got to tell you, my family was in the citrus business in Florida and in the cattle business for 143 years until 2008. I lived on and managed a 1,300-acre cattle ranch for many years, so I know about real agriculture. When managing a cattle operation, you learn about a lot of things, and one of those is being able to identify BS. Anytime someone tells you that listening to Mick Jagger and ZZ Top and someone yelling at the top of their lungs over a PA system is related to agriculture, I encourage you to call BS. Thank you very much for your consideration, and I ask that you please keep our peaceful neighborhood. Thank you.
Audrey, followed by Sandra Levin, Cara Miller, and Katie Reinholtz.
Hello, Audrey Friedrich, Loxahatchee Groves. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I am here to speak and advocate for White Trail Social and Garden Club. I am an elected official on the Palm Beach County Soil and Water Conservation District Board, where I serve as Vice Chair. I'm currently serving my second term. I live next to several plant nurseries, and my husband has worked in the plant nursery industry for his entire career. I'm also 9 months and 1 week pregnant. I share that to emphasize how important I found it to be here today to advocate for White Trail. For over a decade, I've been involved with farmer and growers associations, attending conferences throughout the state and country with my husband, as this is his line of work. I met the owners of White Trail, Matt and Katie, just a few years ago at an FNGLA event. I remember meeting Katie, and what struck me was, one, how young she was, because at the time, most attendees were our parents' age, and two, how hard she was working, volunteering her time to make sure that the event ran smoothly. It was about a year after that where I was able to visit their business, White Trail. I was blown away. I've traveled to many professional and private gardens throughout the country and even the world, and I'm blown away by White Trail. I was there again just a few weeks ago, and the place is impeccable. Matt and Katie work so hard to make the place beautiful, and they are so hospitable to their guests. Last time I was there, children were running around, fishing, petting baby goats and baby chicks, having the time of their lives, and I heard multiple kids tell their parents, "I never want to leave this place." Professionally, I'm a pediatric psychologist with my own private practice. Day in and day out, I see rampant mental health decline from kids addicted to electronics. What a delight it was to see kids enjoying nature at White Trail. What an honor it is to have White Trail in Palm Beach County. The efforts by the county to sue White Trail seem absolutely unfounded. I saw a recent document from the county which stated that there were fears that more such businesses would come to the area. We could only be so lucky. I'm certain there's no one else out there like Matt and Katie who would be able to duplicate White Trail's precision and beauty. If there were, I hope they would move in next door to me. Commissioners, if you've never visited White Trail, please do so. Every time I've gone, I've taken pictures and sent them to friends who live locally and out of state, and everyone's response is, "Where is that? Please take me there." Palm Beach County is very fortunate to have White Trail, and it's important that our local government allow this beautiful, successful business to operate and be a source of pride for the county. Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Sandra Levin. I'm a resident of 21785 Cypress Drive, apartment 46G, Boca Raton, Florida, and I'm a member of the Sierra Club. The GL project proposed for the Agricultural Reserve is not a good deal for Palm Beach County, even though the developers are presenting it as such. Please reject the Indian Trails Grove Agriculture Exchange. Overall, the negative consequences of the project outweigh the benefits. First of all, the approval of the project would be a betrayal of what the citizens wanted when they voted in 1999 for the Agricultural Reserve in a $150 million bond referendum. The company has presented a list of sweeteners, including a water treatment plant and a park, but we should beware of such authors. They would not make up for what would be lost, a part of the land reserve that overall enables agriculture, preserves natural resources, and improves our environment. The reserve enables better air and water quality. The reserve is the only remnant of the northern Everglades and cypress swamps, and it plays an important role in the prosperity of the entire Everglades system. GL's offering of sweeteners is part of an effort to obtain land inside the reserve for the building of 1,277 homes that would likely be highly profitable for the company. But new development would add to congestion and county costs for new services. Approval of the project would add to the chipping and chopping away of the agricultural reserve by the approval of development in past years. Eventually, continual cutting of the preserve will result in the loss of open space as a viable conservation area. At this time, the leaders of the world have a narrow window of less than a decade to deal with global warming before it reaches a severe point. Addiction to fossil fuels and overdevelopment has already created temperatures higher than any time in human history. We're actually living on a different planet as a result of damage done. Palm Beach County is just one corner of the world, but everything contributes to this environmental crisis. Overdevelopment in Palm Beach County is not helping us become a better planet. GL Homes is offering to build a water treatment plant even though the developer has no background in this type of project. A soil and water scientist told the Sierra Club that the plant specifications don't allow for both storing water and treating water. The water level is not high enough. In addition, another water treatment plant is planned for a nearby location. Our open space is disappearing and our planet is overheating. Let's not worsen the crisis. Please maintain the integrity of the agricultural reserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Cara Miller, followed by Katie Reinholtz, followed by Carl Rittenberger, then Tom Rawson.
Hi, I'm very bad public speaker, so I'll read my note here, but I am a concerned citizen and a property owner on 131st Street North.
You are Cara, correct?
Yes, I'm Cara. Life on 131st Street North is idyllic. You would be hard-pressed to find a better spot. Our street has a true sense of camaraderie. I am a rose grower, collector, and neighbor of White Trail Club, and can say with all my heart that they make our street a more special place to be. I also want to say that I care very much about everyone on our street, and that I want it to be a peaceful place. Katie and Matt have created a magical destination in White Trail Club. It is a hidden little gem of a farm at the end of our dirt road and enhances our experience of being a part of this community of Jupiter Farms. The world they have created is tranquil, authentic, and truly dynamic with animals, gardens, and more. And it is such a treat when we have the opportunity to visit, and life really would not be the same without it. Furthermore, White Trail goes beyond the unique environment they have created. The people are really what make it so fantastic. Katie, Matt, and their entire team have hearts that are larger than life. When a neighbor is in need, they rush to the rescue. When our veterans need encouragement, they lift them up. They truly celebrate everyday life to the fullest, and they care so much about our community and work tirelessly to enrich life here. Their vision and execution of White Trail Club is out of a storybook, and there is nothing else like it in our community. And I second the previous speaker who was going into the child psychology. In times like these where kids are constantly plugged in and people are divided, I think we can all use a little more of yesteryear, and White Trail Club is just that. They have woven a community of people and hearts together, and it really would be a sincere tragedy if anything compromised that. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Katie Reinhold's White Trail Farm. So, in navigating this wild and crazy road we've been down for the past few years, I'm a peacekeeper. I like people. I like happiness. I like peaceful places. I love roses. I don't like conflict, and I don't like upset. And no offense to any of you guys here, but I don't like being here. You have heard from many of our supporters, and we appreciate them for showing up on what was pretty short notice. And then you've heard from people that I consider to be a little out of touch with agricultural law. Before this life happening, I would have actually never imagined that I would have needed a law, a state law, to protect me from my own local government. During this time, I have had one neighbor taking pictures of perfectly lawful agricultural activity, items that are listed in the Right to Farm Act. Who put him up to this? Well, code enforcement gave him their personal cell phone number and asked him to pry over my fence and send pictures. I think that the commission needs to advise code enforcement that if they need data, they need to obtain it themselves. Tasking the average person with something like this makes them feel a sense of authority. And without knowing the mental health of a person, quite frankly, it's not their job, and it can become quite dangerous. In a diplomatic approach to these noise concerns, we would say it's really easy to gather that what we're doing is allowed in America because we have not received a violation. So in order to quiet the noise we're hearing about noise, an ordinance would have to be changed. I did a little bit more work, I'm gonna mind the clock here, on surrounding properties. So one property that's very, very, very close to our farm, it's not on our street, but it would be the closest Airbnb that isn't owned by me. to the farm. And it shows, it's actually owned by Thomas Rawson, and it shows 42 five-star reviews. Now, when I went through, I considered these to be non-biased people, and you know, I'd be happy to share all 42 with you. They're doing an amazing job. But in every entry, peace, tranquility, our own tropical oasis. Never want to leave this property. Private, peaceful, unplugged. So there's a lot of noise, and I need us together to get through it. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Carl Rittenberger?
My name is Carl T. Rittenberger. I am Katie's dad. I am Matt's father-in-law. And I come from an extreme background of farming. Still working today, 152 years later, is the Meyer side of the family. Her great-grandpa. 47 years in business was her grandfather. One was a cattle farmer, feeder, and meat packer. The 151-year-old, or 152-year-old farm is still operating today as a milking operation and a calving operation. My business has been in business for 47 years. And I don't care if there's a business worth its salt, you're going to have different opinions, different things. You're going to have jealousies, and you're going to have situations. I've never seen a situation quite like this. Those two have worked extremely hard, the whole family, to create what you've just heard, and to the good of people. And if you ever saw those challenged children come out there and go to that goat barn which has a sliding board, that has the donkeys, that has the rabbits, that has everything that just lights them up. And then to grab a plant, a friendly plant, maybe not a rose, and put it in the ground. And then to do all of the things that they do and climb back on that little short bus would change your mind. And like they have said, I invite you to go see it. And we are 100% full of concrete. Well, that concrete, creates dollars. But this is something that gets the kids back to Mother Earth and back to where they should be about feeling good about themselves, as opposed to listening to something that twists their head up. And they're doing it. And I don't understand drones. I don't understand going to my own birthday party at 75 and having a county car standing out there. And I go out there. I invite him in. I take him a piece of cake. He didn't even know why he was there. Just in front of the whole thing. And it was a surprise party. Well, we were surprised. So I'm extremely proud of what they've done. And I'm down to 22 seconds here. And anybody that has a business in the salt of the earth, there it is. Anybody that has a business has challenges. Anybody that's been in business for 152 years, 47 years, 47 years, and in a short period of time, they have built and they are building wholesome, good things. Thank you.
Tom Rawson, followed by Jeff Perkins, followed by Ron Saunders, followed by Colin Friedrich.
Hi folks, my name is Tom Rawson. I've lived out in Jupiter Farms, about a street over from the White Trails, and we've lived there for about 12 years. We have a little hobby farm. We have chickens and ducks and sheep and a couple dogs and mango trees, and we too are farmers. It's a business for us as well as a way of life, and I am not against White Trails. I'm for them for what they do with the kids, for what they do with planting and farming and instilling values. My problem is the loud music. That's my only complaint today, is the loud music that does go after 9 o'clock. It does go late into the night. It does involve a lot of yelling and shouting and cheering, and people are obviously having fun. But we're not having fun. We're listening to the music. It's penetrating our house. It's coming through our windows. It affects our animals. It makes our dogs bark. We have to bring our dogs inside because they're barking, keeping our other neighbors awake. And when that happens, then the animals have no protection from the livestock guardian dog. So I am only asking you to enforce the time and the decibel, the loudness of their music. That's all I'm here for you to ask for you to do today. I support the kids, I support the flowers, I support the fish, I support all of that. I do not like the loud music. It's way too late into the night. Thank you.
My name is Jeff Parkins. I live about a half a mile away from White Trail. I'm actually Mr. Rawson's next door neighbor. I too feel the same way about White Trail. I think if they've built a nice facility, they're welcome to operate their business however they like. Again, I fully support it. You know, I enjoy seeing small businesses succeed. The problem comes at night when they have every week, week after week after week after week after week. I can no longer sit in my backyard and enjoy a peaceful sunset with my wife because of what feels like about 1,000 watts of amplified power and a Taylor Swift concert where they're screaming people that carry on until 10, 11 o'clock at night, consistently. It upsets our dogs. I have all my windows closed and the air conditioning on, and I still have to turn my TV up louder than is comfortable to be able to hear it over the sound of the music that comes through my house a half mile away. While I don't have fancy sound measuring equipment, I know that it has an impact on my life. When we had horses 2 years ago, when they would play the music, the horses would have to be locked up because they would panic at the sound of the music. Our dogs don't like it. They whine and can't be outside, otherwise they bark. They don't understand, but it's something that rattles them. That's it. It's just the sound is an ongoing big problem in what, and they try to claim they're creating a peaceful environment, but they're ruining everybody else's peace around them.
Sir?
Commissioner Baxter, did you have a question?
I did have a question for the gentleman. He said he is a half mile away, and most people in here know that I live in the acreage. And so I was wondering,
I'm sorry. I thought he was 30.
there's a lot of people around me that throw parties and have loud music. I am curious, how do you pinpoint it to the White Trails Farm?
There are a lot of parties that have loud music. Out in the area that we're living in, it's extremely clear the direction of the source of the sound. And there is no question whatsoever that it's coming directly from White Trail.
I was just curious. Thank you.
Yep.
Hello, and thanks for letting me speak. I'm Ron Saunders. I'm from Tequesta, Florida. I'm actually the board chair of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation as well. So I'm supporting White Trail and all of the ag tourism sites in northern Palm Beach County. I've had events at both Lucky Old Sun, and I've also been at an event at White Trail. So I know this situation relatively well. Our area is desperate for more places like White Trail. The corporations are pressing hard to take over northern Palm Beach County and sterilizing just about everything we know as old Florida. I've been here 33 years. It's really cool to go west on Indiantown Road, 3 lanes each way, and get out of the traffic and find a place like White Trail and that street that they host events on and for the kids. I think we should be trying to save more places like White Trail in northern Palm Beach County. We're going to lose a lot of these opportunities as well to Martin County because of the development going on in Hobe Sound. It's all going to be about agritourism, and I think we should keep some of that here in Palm Beach County. I know a lot of younger people trying to get married in Jupiter, Florida. If any of you guys want to price those things out, you're going to end up at the Pelican Club looking over at the lighthouse, which is beautiful, but you're going to use all their vendors and everything else. It's going to be $100,000. So I'm actually hosting a small wedding at my own home because there's really nowhere for these younger people to have weddings. So, and I think one thing is important is, we have a lot of wealthy people in northern Palm Beach County. The more wealth, we're going to kick out a lot of the little kids, the raising kids. It's going to be harder and harder to find places like this. So I think we really have to cherish places like White Trail. I do kind of laugh at a 1,300-acre cattle guy telling me that there's 20 violations on somewhere. I'm sure he had thousands, by the way. So I also live in a place that's very crowded and can be very loud. The young people wakeboarding behind my house all day on Saturdays and Sundays. I challenge that it's probably louder than White Trail. I know when I was at the recent White Trail event that I went to, I can tell you that the sound was kept at a minimal. I know that because I play really loud music using silent disco headsets on the top of Harborside to keep sound at a minimum so Harborside doesn't get in trouble. I know for a fact that they did shut the music down. Everything was quiet at the end of the night. I thought they did a wonderful job with the hosting and the cars and parking. And I do believe that, if we lose places like this, we're not going to be able to get them back. So somebody that cares as much as the Reinholdts do, I think it's important to let them flourish and have them flourish in our community. So thank you.
Colin Friedrich from Loxahatchee Groves. Good afternoon, commissioners and staff. I'm the current president of the Palm Beach County Farm Bureau and fellow farmer and nursery owner. I'd like to voice my support for White Trail Farm. Their owner, Matt, is a key Farm Bureau board member helping our county's farming community. Their beautiful Rose Farm is one of the best and very professionally done, with its many community events and is an example of agritourism done right. After attending multiple events, I can assure you their establishment beautifies the county and benefits our county citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jennifer Brashear, followed by Adam Edison, Zach Kaus, and Barbara Robinson.
Good afternoon, Jennifer Brash here, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. I'm here to talk to the commissioners. My second time in front of you, so I appreciate your time in listening to us and getting to sit in this room and hearing both sides of the story. I just want to ask for your help. So yes, there is a conversation here today about White Trail. Matt and Katie are friends of mine. I call it my second home, so I apologize to the neighbors. It was probably my kids in the pool screaming, playing music. I just want to let you know that I've asked you before, and I'm asking you again, to help the Reinholds. All their friends are here in support of saving White Trail. My family uses it. I have an autistic daughter. I love to travel. I love to go everywhere. I love to go to parks. But I'll tell you, I have one child that that won't even leave my house unless I say I'm going to White Trail. I could tell her I'm going to Disney. I could tell her I'm going to SeaWorld. I could tell her I'm going to a local farmer's market. She says, "No thanks, Mom, I'm staying home." That's her autistic side. She doesn't function well in our world, but she functions at Katie's and Matt. And it doesn't matter what day or time I say I'm going to Katie and Matt's, my child's going. We do need to be unplugged. But I want to also let you know, I've tried to make some phone calls to our county officials, and I want to let you know that they're creating some dangerous situations over there at White Trail. We've heard from some rational, normal neighbors here so far today, but I want to tell you there's two in this room that haven't been very rational. One of them, Adam, has turned into a stalker. He feels he's been commissioned by county officials to watch the Reinholds and get proof. He calls them at a moment's notice. My own daughter's birthday party, he complained about children laughing. I didn't pay. It wasn't a venue. It was friends having a birthday party for my 7-year-old, visited by police, visited by code, because Adam has the phone number. But you've put in his mind he has a right to, not you, they've put in his mind he has a right to act this way. He has become a stalker. He's become a harasser. His other neighbor, Zach, one night I was leaving Katie and Matt's house. I caught him dumping. I didn't know who he was. I just saw a truck backed up to their property, illegally dumping something on the side of the road. So I stop. The detective in me says, let me get a picture so I could tell them who was dumping on their property. I send it to Matt. I said, I just want to let you know this guy was dumping. And Matt informs me the next day that that same neighbor says, hey, tell your employee I got a gun and I'm not scared to use it. Really? The convicted felon has a shooting range pointed towards their house, has a gun? That's who they've solicited to work for the county to get all this information. Thank you for your time.
How you doing today? My name's Zach House. I live next door to Matt and Katie. I first want to kind of address a couple things here. I didn't come here to attack Matt and Katie or attack their character, but I think it's interesting, everybody that you guys have up here talking, you have to discredit all three neighbors that touch you to try to discredit what they have to say. I'm not against Matt and Katie. I'm not against ag tourism. The purpose that I'm here today is that we're not against the camping events. We're not against the kids events. We're not against small events that doesn't impact your ability to join, like to enjoy your own property. I think this would never be going to court if they didn't regulate themselves. And one of the things under ag tourism, if there's major offsite impacts, then it's up to the county to understand and realize that. There's now a process. So I live next door. I did about 3 to 4 events per year before. I didn't know wasn't supposed to. I did a couple of charity events, and I did a couple weddings. I helped pay my taxes and use some of my property. The county says I couldn't do it, and I was waiting to see what the official process is to actually see what this looks like. But there is an official process to run that you go to the county, you tell them what they want to do, they look at the off-site impacts, they look at the traffic studies, they talk to the neighbors. That's what you guys should have done from the beginning, and it wouldn't added all the animosity that's going on with our street right now. If it just followed that process, and that's the process that should be happening here today. I will say since just October, not the last 3 years, since October, there's been over 30 events with over 100 people, and the noise is loud. Not all events. Some events are fine. Some events we all agree that touch them, that we don't hear them in our houses, and it doesn't go on. But through October through January, every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it is events that go on, and the noise my house is 2 blocks away? I could literally make out the song inside my house, and my golden retrievers are hiding in the closet. And at some point, it makes you reconsider, should I sell my place? I love my place. I think, and I might want to do this in the future as well. My question to you guys is, how many events is normal? You separate the two businesses, separate the ag piece and the event piece. How many events, if it lived next door to you, is okay? What is the noise situation? How much noise in decibels? Because I can tell you it's 65, 70 decibels for most of their weddings. What about wear and tear on the road? And people going up, every wedding's got 100 people, 150 people going up and down the road to the very end on a private road. So I just think that you need to take consideration, this is not a one-off situation. This is, whatever you make the rules here is gonna have to be for other people. And I think it shows a lot about your true character, how you attack everybody else when they're not against you.
Adam Edison, followed by Barbara Robinson, Angelique Contreras, and Gabrielle Fox.
Good afternoon. Thank you all. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
It's my first time.
That's all right.
Thank you all for taking the time and doing what you do for us and supporting all the homeowners in the county. I am the direct next door neighbor, and as they've mentioned my name now 3 times, I'm directly next door, and I'm the most impacted what's going on here. And I can tell you, if you took a survey of people of why they've moved to Jupiter Farms, it's for the peace, the quiet, the serenity, and that's all been taken away from us. I've lived there now 12 years, and for the first 6, 7 years, it's been wonderful. Just wonderful place to be until these people bought the farm. And then they immediately went to the county and said, hey, we want to build a barn and have weddings. And the county said, no, you're not zoned for this. You're not allowed to do this. The impact on the road would be very, very detrimental. No, you can't do this. So they went on, hired a lawyer, because they want to make money. They're not into helping people, training people, teaching people, none of that. It's all about money. And they get a lot of money for throwing these weddings. Okay, so this is what it's all about. All the farming stuff, it's not even a real farm. They buy roses wholesale, and then they sell them retail. That's it. If you call that a farm, they don't grow anything there, nothing. But more importantly, and this is the big complaint I have, the noise is out of control. It's completely disturbing. It is very, very loud to the point that the windows rattle, you can be in your house, you can't even hear your own television set. Now, I'm the closest one to them, so I'm the most dramatically impacted. Also, the road, I invite you all today, go drive up our road. 90% of the traffic on our road is generated by their farm. And the trucks coming there to set up the tables and the chairs and the band and the caterers, and then all the people. I count the cars now. Yeah, I'm the busybody that every time there's an event, I take photographs and I send them to the county and I complain, stop this, get this under control. Stop them from doing this. They built the barn that's illegal because they built it under ag tourism, hiding under their agriculture when they're really not. They built the barn before they grew anything. They applied for their permit for ag tourism, saying they're gonna grow melons. They've never grown a melon ever. Never. And they built a barn that is unusable as a farm because it's got 3 steps to get up into it. You can't put a tractor in there. You can't put animals up and down steps, travertine floors, chandeliers nicer than you've ever seen, a fireplace. But they claim this is for their farm. It's illegal. You can't build a barn to house people for the purpose of housing people. You can use it to farm, but you can't use this barn for farm. But the big complaint I have is they're destroying our road. 90% of the traffic on our road is generated by them. Them. And I invite you, go to the road today. You can, if you have a car, you won't make it up the road without having to get a front alignment. You need either a pickup truck or an SUV. You can't drive a car up the road. It's getting destroyed. And I have not seen them fixing the road. Somebody said that. And also, many people here speaking in support of White Trail Farm, none of them live within a mile. None of them. Wellington.
Quiet.
I've heard everybody that spoke today said they live somewhere else, Loxahatchee, Wellington. I live right next door. I'm right in front of this. They've also demeaned me regularly. You've had people say bad things about me right here in this very meeting. They've had me making false claims against me. They made a claim that I was a pervert and taking pictures of his wife, and it was reported to the Palm Beach County Sheriff. It's on record. I'm not a pervert. I'm a farmer. I've been growing palm trees on my farm for the 12 years I've been there. My farm has been a palm tree farm for over 30 years. It's got to stop.
Barbara Robinson, followed by Angelique Contreras, Gabrielle Fox, and Thomas Rosen.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Barbara Robinson. I'm a resident of Riviera Beach, but I'm a community leader. And so I'm out there and I see a lot that's going on out here. I've spent about 15 years in Highlands County, and we were there, and while there was, we as leaders came together and we started this initiative to take back our city streets. And so that's one of the concerns that I have about being in this county here, to be able to take back our city streets from gun violence and from these youth gangs and so forth and so on. And also for the homeless. There's extremely a lot of homeless people here. And I noticed that they have a lot of old crack houses and old grow houses around here that are just out there. We would like, on behalf of the Christian community, to to tap into some of that so that we can have resource centers for our children, so that they can, they can be mentored and so forth and so on. So I would just like to leave my little 501c3 proposal right here so that you all can consider us and see what we can do to make this community a better place, this county, okay? Thank you all so very much.
You can give it to Craig.
Thank you.
Hello, Commission, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Angelique Contreras, Lake Worth. I'm here in support of White Trails. I'm hearing a lot of animosity and obviously mud being slung. And it's unfortunate that a family that has put a lot of their time, their energy, resources into is being defamed. I know Katie and Matt personally and visited their property, and it's absolutely stunning out there. And I know many of the neighbors have spoken highly, but I think we have to think about legacy. We have to think about generational outcomes if we get rid of this property and we don't support them. The gentleman before said that he had a machine that the decibels were about 60 to 70 that he heard, and that's as loud as a blow dryer. You can look that up. When it's out in the open and there isn't buildings to buffer the noise, it's going to sound louder. But if there is weddings on the property, you're allowed to celebrate a lifetime being created, and that's what they're doing. We've heard many testimonies of the children going out there and being able to get off of their devices, be able to be in the nature, be able to be around the animals. This commission talks a lot about mental health, and I think their property allows for children to be away from the things that deplete children's mental health and our own as adults as well. So I just asked the commission, I know Maria Marino, you serve over that area, to support this family or to find a solution for this family so that this business can continue to thrive in Palm Beach County, so that we can continue to have opportunities for children and multiple generations to come in Palm Beach County. You heard a lot of people talk about corporate entities taking over these industries. And I think it's important that we have a family that's created something to be able to sustain their life and stay here in Palm Beach County. So I'm here today to support them and address the grievance to this board to support them as well. Thank you.
Gabriel Fox, Thomas Rosen, Missy Isaacson, and Keely Haverland.
Hello, my name is Gabrielle Fox, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Thank you for your attention today. First, I'd like to call some attention and show my support for my fellow county residents in Loxahatchee and Jupiter Farms that have been experiencing some property rights overarching, they're being stepped on with unlawful local and county governments, and I support any local farm, especially because of what's going on in our communities with the influx of people moving to Florida. But I have a more pressing issue I'd like to discuss today. Our vote is our voice, and although people might say this is a state issue, not a county issue, the county should be concerned that the recent bill that's been proposed in Tallahassee is infringing on those election rights. My question is, if the county had the power to impose, let's say, mask mandates during the pandemic, why do they not have the power, or how are we to believe they don't have the power to enforce a hand count by precinct due to the known vulnerabilities of our election systems and the fact that we are using machines that are connected to the internet during our elections? The board has budgetary control of the supervisor of elections, so why has the board not done away with these voting machines, or at least ensured that they are not connected to the internet so they cannot be accessed by outside entities? The commission should be the voice of the people in Tallahassee and speak to the governor regarding Bill 7050, which does gut our elections. One of the concerns I have is that it is going to allow, in place of a signature verification, the last four of the social to be used. Not only that, but allowing NGOs and foreign nationalists to register voters. why are we using vote by mail after the pandemic is over? Florida Constitution, Article 6, Section 1 states that all elections by the people shall be direct and secret. Vote by mail is in no way direct or secret. It violates the Florida Constitution and should be done away with. I obviously don't support this bill. I don't think any of my constituents in Palm Beach County would support this bill. My name is Gabrielle Fox, and I'm running for State House, District 94. Thank you.
Sir.
Thomas Rawson. I live in Jupiter Farms, directly west of White Trail Social Club, and I am utterly disgusted at the personal attacks, which someone just referenced here, how it's getting so ugly. Yes, it's getting ugly from the White Trail side against the people that have explained pretty well what the problem is. And it's since my name was mentioned personally about my Airbnb, which I have, it's licensed, it's permitted, unlike all the structures that they put up. They have 3 parcels, and they actually run their main house as an Airbnb and their guest house as an Airbnb, which is totally illegal in Palm Beach County. I was never going to say that, but you all made this very personal today. For me, it was about the noise. That's it. I don't care they want to run a farm, they want to be respectful neighbors, but they're not. This all started 3 years ago, and they started building all these structures along my fence line with plastic greenhouses that are falling apart and garbage and junk, all sorts of stuff. And I said to Matt over the fence line, hey, could you put in a privacy hedge just so I don't have to look at that? He told me he would do that. No, he didn't do that. That's 3 years ago. I've spent thousands of dollars putting a privacy hedge in so I don't have to look at their nonsense. They make themselves out in this meeting, which is just shocking again to me to be these wonderful people. They, I'll tell you a few things that have happened. I texted them one night, it was probably around, and those parties do not end at 10 o'clock. Many times they go past midnight. I live directly behind them. I texted them one night, and I asked them, could you please turn down the music? I'm not trying to be a jerk, just trying to be neighborly, asking you nicely. I have all this in text. Matt told me, quote, why don't you go move to an HOA that would be better suited to you with all the noise ordinances, and told me to call his lawyer. So, they make themselves out to, they're just so friendly and they're so nice, and no, they're not. And when I got that, I texted him back. I said, look, I'm not trying to be a pain in the ass. I just don't want to hear your loud wedding music that wakes up my 3-year-old and they cannot sleep. My dog barks at the sliding glass door all the time. My wife and I argue about the music because she wants to move and I don't want to move. And then she's like, well, then do something about that. So our choices are, do we go out one night and we don't want to go out for dinner, but we leave our house so we don't have to listen to the nonsense. The people that were in here supporting them, none of them live in our neighborhood. And I don't care if they said they did. Oh, which ones? Huh? You don't, no. You don't live in our street. When they say Jupiter Farms, that is not our neighborhood. That could be 8 miles away. I'd like to know who lives within a half mile that's come up here and supported them. None. Who? Where do you live? She does not live.
Sir,
that is a lie. She does
sir,
not live on our street.
Please make your remarks to us. You're here to speak to us this
Okay.
afternoon.
I'm just letting you know that it is an incredible disturbance. We have asked them nicely, and they refuse to do anything about it, and they lie about their hours, they lie about the decibels, and they pretend they're these caring people. No, totally disrespectful.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's going to be a tough act to follow. Hi, I'm Keely Haverland, president of Florida Nursery Grower Landscape Association for Palm Beach chapter. I work very closely with Matt and Katie Reinholtz. They serve as our state representative for FNGLA. So we trust them so much in agriculture that they actually represent us at a state level. So I'm not sure what these people are talking about. This is a mess. But I'm here to tell you that White Trail is a very important agritourism operation in our county. Like Commissioner Sachs said in a hearing last week, that I think what we're having is a lot of things running into each other in the community, different types of folks as as we're bursting at the seams as a community, and we're going to have to find a way to live together. And, you know, we cannot just, every time somebody complains, we cannot open up these cans of worms all the time. This is not only is this a state-protected farm, this is a USDA registered farm. So I think it's very important to support them and support the agriculture in our community. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor Weiss, Mrs. Sachs, Ms. Marino, Mr. Barnett, Mrs. Woodward, Mrs. Baxter, Mr. Barnard, Mrs. Baker, Mr. Abruzio, and Ms. Kaufman. My name is Mickey Isaacson. Last month, I spoke to the commissioners here in this room. The attorney on the commission board made a comment asking as to why the public keeps breaking up election integrity topics since we have nothing to do with them. I would like to remind you that I participated in the 2022 primary midterms and 2023 municipals at the SOE Riviera location. I personally met some of you working there. It is my understanding that the commissioners fund and approve the budget for the Supervisor of Election Department, which is an important fact for the public to know. Don't pass the buck. I am confused with your denial of your participation in elections. Maybe you can explain it to us. Can you? In any case, I would like to state that all of your commissioners, whether you have participated in the canvassing room at the SOE or just sit here on the County Commission Board, have all taken an oath to protect Palm Beach County citizens. Those oaths that did the oath include that you would follow the U.S. Constitution and the Florida Constitution? Those oaths said that you may do no harm or steal our inalienable rights. What does your agenda not hold an election integrity committee meeting or workshop? There are many citizens telling you that there are issues with the elections, and since you are aware of our concerns, is it not your duty to address them? I have given you my sworn statement of what I observed at the SOE. Have you had a chance to look at it? Into my sworn statement to investigate for possible treason? Treason is defined by U.S. Code 2381. Whoever owing allegiance to the United States levies war against them or adheres to their enemies, giving them aid or comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason. I am suggesting you rethink your view on election integrity and be on the right side of history and fix Palm Beach County so that our elections are honest, accountable, fair, and with integrity so that we know we are electing officials, not selecting them. We have the EL 45 report showing the discrepancies in the 2022 midterms. Who on this commission can help us find out what those discrepancies are and what our next steps are with these reports? Is there anyone on the commission willing to stand up? A reminder to you politicians, your oath of office, and here they are. And it is, I do solemnly swear and will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to do the same, that I will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or evasion.
Commissioner Bernard, you're recognized.
Ma'am, if you can come up for real quick, I just have some questions just to make sure. With some of these issues, have you taken it to the Secretary of State?
So I told you in my last meeting who I took it to. I took it to the FDLE, the Secretary of State, the Election of Crime, the Sheriff's Department. I gave it to you. I've given it to the governor. I've given it to Cord Bird. I've given it to many other officials.
Okay, so the Secretary of State, they're the ones who control most of the elections, and they're the ones who are passing the election law for the whole state of Florida.
I gave them my report, my sworn statement at the Senate meeting, so they have it.
Okay. Our county attorney, if you don't mind, in regards to, we've heard these issues coming up over and over again. Election law for the state of Florida isn't decided by the state of Florida?
It is. This is a state issue. The Secretary of State oversees it. But in each county also, there is an independently elected supervisor of elections who is directly accountable to the people. And we do not have the authority to withhold budget or to otherwise tell her how she must operate her office. So,
And if some of the people who are coming in front of us, if they have issues with the Secretary of State and with the Supervisor of Elections office, and if the governor or the Secretary of State are not happy and satisfied, they can remove her, am I correct?
that's correct. And also, you know, you're looking for changes to state laws. This is not a local law issue, this is a state law issue.
So if we don't abide by, if the current supervisor election officer does not abide by state law, would she run afoul of the state law and potentially could be sent to jail?
Yes, or removed from office by the governor.
Okay. So I just think that it may be better to go to the Secretary of State or to the governor's office, because our hands are tied. Because in regards to elections, we have deadlines that we have to meet. And, you know, I've heard people say, hey, you need to hand count the ballots. But if you have a 48-hour time period where you have to present the results to the state, and if you don't, then you can go to jail for not adhering by state law. So what are we supposed to do?
Well, I saw hand count audits happen at the SOE in record time, so I don't understand why that would be a problem to recount ballots.
But I can tell you that the current supervisor elections person who's there, she was placed there by the governor, and they removed the previous one because they didn't report elections on time to the state.
But she was reelected, so he put her there, but people selected her again.
Yeah, but I'm just
Who?
saying, like,
I don't know.
if you don't meet those deadlines, then the governor's office are going to remove you for not meeting those deadlines. So I think you're barking on the wrong tree.
Well, I'm not sure about that, because I've given you my sworn statement of what I witnessed at the SOE. So it's your duty to investigate from it. It's your duty, whoever is.
You could take it to the Secretary of
I've
State,
taken
the
it to
state
everywhere.
of the state of Florida, and
I
they
have.
could do, and they
I have.
FDLE, and
I
they'll investigate.
Well, they broke my window, so they're not investigating it. They're threatening me. No, it's whoever wants to investigate it is their responsibility to, I mean, you can sit there and say it's not your duty, but you're getting paid. You're paid, I just reminded you that you pay the SOE. So anybody who is responsible for paying somebody must have some authority over them. You're paying them. And it's your duty. You're commissioners, and it's Palm Beach County. I've reported everything to you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Natalia Milian, Aaron Atkins, Ashley Johnson, Candace Rojas.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Nice to see you again. We're not here for commercial or recreational vehicles today, so don't worry. I'm here to support Whitetail, sorry. I've been to a couple events of theirs with my kids and my family. Not once have I heard that the music is so loud that they claim it to be. I can actually talk to my friends and family next to me, and usually when the music's loud, you can barely do that. You have to like shout in order to hear the person next to you. So I don't think a noise problem, I don't think they have it. Like I said, I've been to multiple events. I also wanted to mention that they are probably one of the most beautiful farms I've ever seen. They have beautiful roses. You can walk around. My kids enjoy going there all the time. They are amazing. I can't even put it into words. I just wanted to touch a quick point. I'm actually surprised to hear that now even cars cause road damage, to what I'm hearing. That's kind of interesting. Regardless of my opinion, I would like to share simple facts. According to the Florida statute, it says agritourism activity means any agriculture-related activity consistent with bona fide farm, livestock operation, or ranch, or in a working forest, which allow a member on the general public or for recreational, entertainment, or educational purposes to enjoy activities, including farming, ranching, historical, cultural, civical, civic, ceremonial, training, and exhibition, or harvest your own activities and attractions to show that the White Trail Farm meets those requirements, they are bona fide ag, and their wedding venues fall under the World Ceremonial. So I don't think we have an issue here, a real issue. If not, the authorities, whenever they come out to their farm, which has been done several times, they would issue them a citation for being too loud because they have decibel machines. So I think this is more of a neighbor fight than anything else, and I think that's something you guys have to take into consideration. They are a beautiful farm, and I would like to continue visiting them, going to their events. Thank you for your time.
Hello. My name is Erin Actis, and I live in Jupiter. I recognize a few of you from several elections, so you won't be surprised at what I'm going to talk about today. I'm here today to get support from the community of Palm Beach County and ask Governor DeSantis to veto the bill HB 7050. The two newest gold standard Florida election bills from the Senate, SB 7050 and House Bill 7067, are lacking in responsible integrity and security laws necessary to conduct elections. We, the forgotten voters, are not being heard. Most election integrity professionals agree this bill is worthless. The House Bill HB 7050 was specifically written by the State Affairs Committee, supervisors of state, and special interest coalitions for Governor DeSantis to sign. Senator Burgess, Representative McClure, Representative Thompson, Local Representative Rick Roth, District 94, and Representative Mike Caruso, District 87, all contributed. The bills put forth do not address the true concerns that grassroots citizens of Florida and beyond have been aware of for some time now. These attempts fail to support the gold standard claims that Floridians expect and are entitled to by law. 3 days ago, on April 28th, SB 7050 was passed on the House floor with 76 yeas, 37 nays, and 9 not voting. Guess who one of the not voting was? Representative Caruso, because he was in Israel with Governor DeSantis signing other unfavorable bills. Which other bills did he opt out of voting? I am a forgotten voter, and we must scrap this conspiracy bill posing as election integrity. These are the top 5 reasons. Number 1, there is no proof of citizenship is ensured. It is unlawful to hand count paper ballots in a hurricane state. Number 3, it is allowing for registration on the same day of the vote being cast. Number 4, encourages third-party voter registration organization fines and allows special privileges for presidential or vice presidential candidates for qualifying requirements as like the resign to run law. Is it too much to ask our supervisor of elections, Wendy Satori-Link, that she must ensure that any individual who casts their vote is an American citizen residing in Palm Beach County and properly verified as such? Goodness knows she had the public inspection designees and volunteers at the tabulation center and polling sites verified and approved. A bright light shone when the citizens stood up, went up to Tallahassee, and got the language of harassment removed, rightfully so. Please, Governor DeSantis, veto HB 7050. We don't need it. We can start over. Thank you.
Go ahead, ma'am. Ma'am?
My name is Ashley Johnson, and I am Palm Beach County. I'm gonna go quick, so stay with me. Transit sucks? Yuck. No east or west thoroughfares compared to other counties? Yuck. Possible table collapse from massive building on high water table levels that is scientifically shown to be very susceptible to flooding in the downtown area? Yuck. Sand Hill Country Club I worked at, they make a lot of noise, and they don't generate as much revenue as you might have projected, in case you didn't know. Yuck. The fact that you're gonna put HOAs in Jupiter Farms? Yuck. Oh my gosh. Palm Beach County alone, it already has over 106 golf courses and country clubs, according to your own Palm Beach County Sports Commission, 20 of which are in the area they're talking about. So I agree with them on that point, but I got other things to get to. Baxter, that was petty, really petty, talking about how diminishing that man's own truth by questioning what he saw in his own truth. That's petty. Mr. Mack, I'm still waiting on you.
Excuse me, ma'am. You're here to address the entire board, not individual commissioners.
Okay, but I just have to, one last person. Okay, well, I'm still waiting on a certain person who knows that I asked him to volunteer. I have receipts on that. I want to see receipts on his end. Okay, all I'm gonna say is greed is gonna get you messed up. I don't care what strata of life you live in, political, otherwise, it's gonna get you messed up, mark my words. All right, and I'm gonna finish with a poem by Cortana Casanova Moreno. People judge like their past is perfect, like their present pretty, like their future is flawless, like this world ain't got drug addicts or alcoholics, rapists, robbers, dealers, murder, extortion, like people being gay in our community is a problematic important. We are all people who fell short of other people's expectations. I don't care what you call it.
Ms. Rojas, followed by Arlene Berry, and final, John Caruso.
Okay. Dear Commissioners, first of all, I wanted to say that I commend the people that have such passion for their community, and we need that same passion for our elections. My name is Candace Rojas. I'm the chairwoman of the Palm Beach Patriots. We are a grassroots organization that promotes the U.S. Constitution. We believe in faith, family, free speech, and fair elections. And many grassroots citizens believe that selected, not elected leaders all across our nation through federal, state, county, municipal, and including those here today, have been a big disappointment to the public. And I wanted to remind the politicians the oath of office, which states, I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter, so help me God. And I've stated several times here at previous commission meetings that we have asked you to help us to fix the election process. It fell on deaf ears, and the attorney here continues to pass the buck, stating you have nothing to do with the elections when we know that you in fact fund the Supervisor of Elections Department, and several of you here are part of the canvassing board. And I wanted to state that any statute that violates the U.S. Constitution is null and void. So I wanted to inform you all that there is suspected election fraud and or treason reports that have been submitted to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Florida Division of Elections Department, about half of the circuit court judges in Florida, Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, Governor DeSantis's Election Crime Division, the U.S. Supreme Court, the Florida Commission on Ethics, the U.S. Marshal's Office, Space Force, and other military contacts from this county. So we must ask ourselves, were you each elected in fair and free elections, or were you selected yourselves in a dishonest manner? And I let the truth swiftly lead you to the best possible outcome for each one of you. And with this being said, I'm here to recommend that you each step down from your official offices. Why endure a sudden apprehension when you have the opportunity to leave with dignity? May God give you boldness to do the right thing. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Palm Beach Commissioners, life is beautiful because we have a lot of contrast. And that's today, with whatever you think of these people, there's contrast.
Your name, please.
Thank you.
Your name, please.
Excuse me?
Who are you?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Your name, please.
Oh, my name is Arlene Berry.
Thank you.
I spoke here quite frequently last year about the Ag Reserve. So the contrast I want to speak about today is urban against rural and suburban. So we in Western Palm Beach County have a beautiful history with the Ag Reserve, a great place to visit as well as live, with its wonderful farms, nurseries, stables, and open spaces. One can literally breathe more freely when you enter Sunshine Meadows or some of the big bougainvillea nurseries or Irish Acres or many of those places. And the Palm Beach County government made a very impressive commitment in 1999 when they put this bond before the public, and the voters, the residents, voted in favor overwhelmingly to support the Ag Reserve and to support the restrictions, the zoning restrictions that they put there. People can buy land there and develop, but the importance of maintaining the restrictions in a time where land is so valuable is very challenging. It's true, but the land is invaluable. It's our treasure, and it's the heritage of our children and our grandchildren. I mean, if you can't go outside and enjoy the good earth, it's a terrible loss. So the preservation of these unique wetlands, farms, and stables in perpetuity, let's respect the commitment that was made by the government because it is worthwhile. GL Homes bought the land knowing what the existing restrictions are. They made the commitment when it was noted by some people in writing, in print, by a Boca magazine. When Valencia Shores was approved, they made the commitment that they would follow the zoning in the future. They always want the next. They always make all the promises at the moment, and then they forget the promises they make for the future. So GL Homes is not offering anything to us when they want to do the swap.
Ma'am, can I ask you to wrap it up, please? You've gone over.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was going so slowly. Okay. So we're going to stress out our resources if more developments go through. I mean, we have enough resources right now for the population.
Thank you.
Okay.
And our last card is John Caruso.
Hello, my name is John Caruso. I live at 137th Trail North, which is about 3/4 of a mile west of White Trails. And my issue is, again, all the scripted sayings that everything that everybody said was great. How can anybody really be against kids? It's awesome. I love it. It's fantastic. We do a lot through our church, the same thing. But the point is, I think the problem is the sound at the weddings. A lot of the moms that were here that said that they were there with their kids and everything, they were not there at 11 and 12 o'clock at night with their kids. They were not. And a lot of people, they do not live in this neighborhood directly where we're affected. In the very beginning, we had put together, I think, which was completely ignored by White Trails, is that there's a affidavit signed by 24 different neighbors in our area that were against, again, we're not against kids, we're not against the farm, we're not against any of that. It is the after hours that disrupts everything. I have a horse farm, and I know my horses are crazy at night at 11 o'clock at night because I go down, I go and feed them every night, last feed, check waters, all that, and they're staring at the fence over in that direction because the sound is coming this way. Not all the time, I will say that, but too many times. And the late night stuff is the stuff that is just not really fair to the local neighbors. If they're doing all these other great things, what's wrong with that? Why does it have to be wedding venue until 11 o'clock at night, almost every single weekend? And I'd like to address, my eyes are terrible. 1, 2, 3. Your question was, how do we know it's White Trails? January, there was a party going on. I mean, there was people everywhere in gowns, because I guess it was a celebration for New Year's or whatever, I'm not real sure. I literally drove around the 2 blocks, saw what was going on, and overheard them say, all the bathrooms are down, they're not working, and they were shuttling people over to a house to go to the bathroom. there's a lot of things that just are not right for the wedding venue. The farming, fantastic. The kids, great. I commend you both for all the hard work you guys do. He's looking up my address right now is what he's doing. I know that. So all of the personal attacks here today were terrible. It was despicable. I can't even believe that it went on. I only had 1 minute left. Thank you.
That was the end of our public cards, and we have about 20 other cards here that chose not to speak in support of White Trail.
Thank you very much. All right, I think unless anybody has anything to say, I don't see anybody, so we are adjourned.